Do it. Let's start out the stream, guys. Let's start out the stream tonight. So let's see what we got going on, guys. Stream looks good and strong. I took care of my issues, hopefully. I've rebooted my router. I've taken care of my internet. Rebooted my PC. Hopefully we'll not have technical difficulties as I had last week. Unfortunately, I had to cut into 2 episodes because my internet dropped in mid-stream. So hopefully it will be good going forward. Starting the stream a little early today, just to see how it goes. I want to see how the thumbnail looks here, just because it looks pretty good. Good. Excellent. Perfect. Sorry about the noise feedback. It's going to be a good stream tonight. I really think it's going to be a good stream. We have a lot to talk about. There's a lot to really unpack. A lot to digest. We're going to take a nice big deep dive into collectibles. I thought that would be a good idea going forward in the stream because I really haven't talked a whole lot about collectibles. I've gone through my entire catalog of all my streams, and it's kind of funny that I'll talk about it in a couple minutes when we really get online. But drink for tonight is we're doing a little Pepsi in these small little tiny bottles. I picked up some small bottles. This may be a 45-minute stream. I don't know yet. It depends on the chat, how much interaction we have. Hopefully we'll have a decent amount. If you notice, I did get a haircut. I needed one very, very badly. So we're starting a little early tonight. Hey, Bizarro Supergirl, woohoo! Thanks for coming in first. It's going to be a good chat tonight, good stream. Download speed was a little on the low side tonight, so hopefully we might have some choppiness happen on the stream just because my upload is not as fast as my download. That's unfortunately how your internet provider packages your plans. You have a lot more download speed than you do have upload speed. So a lot to digest and unpack. We're doing Pepsi for right now, and if we get to a second drink, we have these little tiny Dr. Peppers. So that's the drink for tonight. We're going to do a really big deep dive, as I mentioned a second ago. We're going to talk about a couple things. Let me take a drink first. Perfect. We're going to talk about some really cool things. As you might have noticed on the thumbnail, Bizarro Supergirl, we're going to talk about collectibles. And I've went through my entire my stream history trying to see if I maybe touch base on things like this, and I never really have. Yeah, we're up to 34 right now. Some of the older ones from the Worldwide Wrestling Podcast are much longer podcasts. Sometimes they're 2.5 hours in length. We're trying to shorten them into smaller segments and put them up more often. That's what we're trying to do, and try to keep a little more concurrent with the events that are taking place, just to have a lot more people get to those particular podcasts. Mainly because you can't really find the podcast in a normal way. Hey, Jackie, thanks for coming into the chat tonight. Like I said, a lot to digest here. Let me clear my phone because it looks good there. Perfect. So we're going to talk a lot about collectibles first and foremost. We'll get to that in a second, and I'll swing back to that near the main event of the stream. I want to talk about what I picked up. We had a toy hunt yesterday over the weekend. It was toy hunt number 63, and I was looking for really 2 items. That's what I went out for on the hunt. It was the 80th anniversary Hot Topic exclusive Funko Dawnbreaker Batman. For some weird reason, I have this fetish of getting Funko Batmans. It's not intentional in any way or shape or form. If you look at my collection, you'll see a huge row of Batman pops. I'm not going out there specifically looking for Batman pops. There's something cool that pops up, I gravitate and buy it. That's what the idea is. But this being a Batman Green Lantern-esque Funko Pop, I had to get it. So I was looking for that item specifically. And I was looking for the Queen Pops. I mentioned it. I had a big thing going with those Queen Pops. They have a big part of my life, my history. Thank you for coming in, AA. Looks like Bizarro Supergirl checked out Worldwide Wrestling Podcast 24 and 25. But Queen has a big soft spot in my heart, and I wanted those Pops. Specifically the entire band. I wanted really the Freddie Mercury. The 3 Freddie Mercury Pops are the ones I wanted. I wanted the Wembley one, especially the Wembley one. I did find the drummer at Books A Million, but like I mentioned on the hunt rather, I wanted to get them in like a larger group at one time, mainly to take advantage of, let's say, FYE's deals or Hot Topics deals or GameStop's deals, like 3 for $27, things like that. I wanted to take advantage of those buying in bulk when you're at a store, but they didn't have any except for Books A Million, who had the drummer. I tried 2 Hot Topics, I tried an FYE and 4 GameStops, and not one of them had the Queen Pops. Yeah, I know that she likes it. So let's take a look first and foremost at the guy I got first, which of course was Dawnbreaker Batman. Batman is celebrating his 80th anniversary, and this is showcasing this new packaging type, this sort of black and gold lettering style. It's a different packaging. We haven't seen it before, except really for the Iron Man pop that came out a few months ago from Walgreens. It comes to light-ups. There's no light-up gimmick for this guy. I will be doing a review for this down the road, absolutely. So I want you to see it real quickly here. This, of course, is a Hot Topic exclusive. There is no light-up gimmick, like I said. And he's really cool looking. He's much darker green. He's not coming out that way right now on camera. The camera is sort of muting the color. He looks very, like, drab in color. He's very bright green. At least when I look at him, he's really, really dark green. If you look, he looks sort of like the green. It's even darker green than the chat, Rook Geek Goodness of my little pop picture. It's darker than that. But he's coming across very drab in color. That's just because of the light in the room. It's not soaking up the color. My camera's not picking it up properly. Maybe he'll focus a little bit to get the better green, but it's not. His eye he has a bunch of gunk on his paint on his eye right there. That's just bad paint. I didn't notice it. But one thing to take note is there is hindrance to the articulation. Since these tubes hook to the shoulder pads, as you'll see them here and here and here, it limits the articulation. The head won't move because of these pipes. And this is very true to the character. The character in the Batman Metals, which is a series that took place about a year ago in DC, where Batman characters basically replaced Justice League characters, but each character was Batman in a different universe. The Dawnbreaker character was Bruce Wayne saw his parents get killed, he got a ring, and he literally hacked the ring on the fly and killed somebody, which you can't do that with a Green Lantern ring. You can't use lethal force. In the comics, it was later retconned where you could use lethal force against Sinestro Corps characters. That's what it was really designed for. But normally, a Green Lantern cannot use lethal force. Bruce Wayne hacked the ring. It's a really cool story. If you look at Dawnbreaker #1, it's a really cool story that they did for him. But I really like this packaging, and to showcase off, just so you guys will know, I'm tempted to do a giveaway down the road because I did, in fact, buy 2 of them. I have 2 Dawnbreaker Batmans. On the West Coast, these are extremely hard to find now. These sold out on their website. On Hot Topic's website, you couldn't get them any longer. Yeah, that Bizarro Supergirl. I'm going to be putting the link to the 63 Toy Hunt in the video on demand when this video goes when that goes live for the video on demand as well. Drink of choice is the Pepsi, little Pepsi bottle. I'll let Collecting Hobby talk about that. He could talk about the giveaway. There were 3 main belt prizes. There was the Sasha belt signed, there was the Johnny Cena spinner belt, and there was the AJ Styles Heavyweight Championship belt. Those was the first place prize for the giveaway. Then I went on, swinging back to the Toy Hunt, then I went back to a Target. And at that Target, I picked up I picked up an item which I didn't think would be available yet. I talked about it on length on the stream. I talked about it I think in one of my videos. I wanted to try to get my hands on it very, very badly. Was the Black Series Archive Boba Fett. And that's one of the guys I was able to get my hands on. This guy right here. Now, I will review him. I definitely will review him. And just to show that, I do have that guy as well, which is the original Black Series, which is, if you look in the back of the packaging, is this same figure right here. And one thing I want to hit home the point of, I'm not trying to brag, I'm not trying to showboat, I just want you to see what I picked up, and I want to do a show and tell. I'm not trying to throw in anybody's face. I just want you to see kind of what I picked up on the Toy Hunt. So they did a little bit of retooling on the little packs on his. This guy will be reviewed. I will unpack this guy. I'm not going to unpack this guy. This guy I'm going to stay mint on card. So those are 2 guys I picked up, talked about it on the Toy Hunt. If you guys haven't seen it, I would recommend listening to it after this stream. So, one of the items, yeah, it was very, very cool that someone got that prize. One of the things I want to talk about, I mentioned just briefly before anyone really came into the stream, was something different I haven't really done yet, was talking about what are your favorite collectibles. I mentioned this because I went through my entire catalog of streams, and it's kind of funny, it's kind of ironic me looking through it, because I went back to my very first stream, and my very first stream was this month. It was February 24th, 2018 was my very first stream on YouTube. I learned how to do it from Cletus Selden. I thank him a lot. I always name drop him when I can, because he really showed me how to do streaming, how it works. And without his help, I wouldn't be able to do this for you guys now. But I'm going to be celebrating my 1-year anniversary on a stream on the 25th. That's going to be a 1-hour special. I know that right now, completely off the top of my head. It's going to be just a back and forth with the audience. It's going to be an open format. We're just going to chat. That's all it's going to be. No format, no special thing. Just me talking with you guys. And I want to thank you guys now ahead of time for watching, continuing to support the channel, and enjoying when I do these streams. But I thought of the idea of looking at collectibles. More importantly, what are your favorite collectibles? I'll talk about mine in a second, but as sort of an addendum to that is, what are your favorite collectibles from a non-mainstream perspective? What I mean by that is something you buy from maybe a company that is not as well known, or a product that's not as well known that is a collectible. I have a few things that I'm going to showcase to you guys right now, and this is why I'm saying I'm probably going to be close to 45 minutes on this stream tonight. Between 30 and 45 minutes, depending on the audience participation, what you guys want to chat about. So, I'll start off first like I always do. So I'll talk about a couple things here first and foremost. First, let's talk about some of my favorite collectibles. And this kind of bridges to the idea of non-mainstream. Because if you guys have watched my video in 2017, my year-end review, my 2018 year-end review, there were 2 really high-end statues from Sideshow Collectibles. Yep. February 24th will be 1 year. I went back and looked at my first stream that went up was February 24th. So I was very, very surprised about that as well. I was like, it's a year now? So yeah, it's going to be that Monday. So the 2 big high-end items in my collection are 2 premium format statues. They call it format figures from Sideshow Collectibles. And that is a Green Lantern Hal Jordan and a Sinestro. They're very expensive, very big statues. I didn't want to wheel them out because they're just unwieldy. They're very, very big. They wouldn't fit in frame right. It would just be a menace and a hassle to shoot it on camera right now for you guys. But those are the 2 big, prominent items in my collection. Now, that's why I kind of circumvents that gray line of it being not mainstream, because I don't think a lot of people really know what Sideshow Collectibles are all about. Unless you're in the pop culture community, unless you collect comics, or go to a comic book store, or go to, let's say, a comic convention, you may not even know what a Sideshow Collectible statue is. At least from the perspective of looking at the statue, you wouldn't know who made it. You might see, let's say, a character, let's say a Captain America or Thanos, and know that character, but you might not know the company who made it. That's what I'm getting at. That's why something that's not mainstream, as well as the character and the company that produces it. So, I think that sort of I do apologize, my upload speed is a little slow tonight. At least we haven't had a loss of the stream, so that's a very good thing. So, a couple things I want to showcase that are my favorite collectibles. Some things I have never even talked about on the channel yet, which we'll probably review down the road. A couple things I'll point out for you guys. So, first and foremost, I did mention it briefly, which is the Black Series Boba Fett. This is one of my more sought-after action figures. Again, I talked about him being not reviewed. At least this figure. The archive one will be reviewed. But this guy is a really expensive figure. Again, I'm not trying to boast or brag or say what I have and you don't. That's not what this stream is all about. That's not what I talk about. I try to, again, show and tell, showing you some stuff. But yeah, this guy's going to be reviewed for the archive figure. The archive one will be reviewed instead of this one. Now, some of the really, again, this is going to be Funko stuff right now, at least for this portion. As far as Funko goes, there's a couple items in my collection that are extremely valuable to me. First and foremost, I talked about him before on my 2018 year in review, which is this guy right here. The Gotham Oswald Cobblepot Penguin Pop. And the reason why this thing is so valuable to me is because I got it signed by Robin Lloyd Taylor, the guy who plays Penguin from the Gotham TV show. I was out with my girl, and we were on a hunt, we were shooting video, and I stumbled across this exact pop, and I had him sign it for me. Me and her were together, we were at the convention, and he signed it for me. And I was extremely happy when he signed it. Very down-to-earth guy. This is one of my most favorite collectibles in my collection, easily, by far. That's why I made the number 2 of my top 10 list, because it's so important to me, because it has a near and dear place in my heart. I was with her, we were together, we had it signed by an actual actor, someone who I didn't think would be so kind and humble, and he really was. Next, of course, are 2 other signed pops. We have the AJ Styles signed via Beckett, the collectible magazine, usually for non-sport. Big fan of AJ Styles, if you guys have not realized. Hopefully you do. And, of course, the Young Bucks, when they were part of Bullet Club. Matt and Nick Jackson signed this one. This is the black and red version. This is not the Hot Topic one, which is yellow and purple. Identical sculpts, identical outfits. It's just a paint variant. So this is a 2-pack. There's that side, and there is that side right there. And the back does showcase them signing it. I actually do watch Gotham, Supergirl. I absolutely do. I haven't seen last week's, and I haven't seen this week yet. But I'm caught up. I've watched every episode. It's very sad that it's going off, off the TV now. It's their last season. It's unfortunate. It does have a feeling like, I won't say they're jumping the shark, but they're really pushing the gas to the floor, because they're trying to wrap up everything, as well as having a very good storyline, extremely quickly. And it feels very rushed. Another Funko item, and this is the last of the Funkos, would be something I picked up about 2 years ago, which is, I got it on the Funko shop. It is the Candy Corn Batman. This is the Funkoween Batman, 3,300 pieces worldwide. It is identical as far as packaging goes. It's your standard Batman packaging. But again, like I said, Batman Pops. I don't know why, as I mentioned, I kind of flocked to Batman Pops. Again, it's not intentional. It just sort of happens. It's more happenstance than anything else. But I think it's very, very cool to get this guy. Be fast, very simple. Yep, Candy Corn. That's sort of the nickname for him. That's what people call him, because he looks like a piece of candy corn. That was the gimmick for it, because candy corn, Halloween, that's the idea. But yeah. Next, I want to showcase. It is something from, people may not know about it. So it's one of my favorite collectibles. It's from DC Collectibles. I've talked about it. I've done a review for it already. I've talked about it before on the 2017 best collectibles of my collection for that year. And we're talking about the Red Lantern Bleeze. This is a statue of Bleeze, a member of the Red Lantern Corps. She holds in place via 1 peg point in her foot. Extremely delicate, very small footprint statue. Wings are extremely, you can see it like right there, you see it shake right there. Extremely delicate. This statue has never broken on me. It takes an extremely small footprint. She looks extremely, very, very sexy looking. It's not a bombshell statue. Price point, I believe, was $100 US. But very cool statue. I do like this. One of the highlight centerpieces of my collection. It's on a small, like a little 2-tier shelf. But all my Green Lantern, Red Lantern stuff, Blue Lantern Corps, Indigo Tribe, Star Sapphire stuff is on that shelf. But Bleeze looks very, very good. I love this statue. Thanks for coming into the chat, Colin. Yeah, it's a very cool statue. The DC Collectibles did a really great job putting the statue together. As I mentioned, she is hooked in place via 1 peg point, right there. And it literally just, you just plug it right into the base. Hopefully I don't mess this up. Let me get there. And she holds in place just like that. She's engineered in a way where she kind of bends a little bit in her design, but she holds with her foot braced against this little back red piece right there. And that's how she holds in place. It's a very cool statue. One of the highlights of my collection easily. So I'll put her away real quick, right there. Yep. There we go. All right. Let me just swing her around so she doesn't fall off my table. Next is something that, yeah, she looks sort of like a Lady Death character. She really does. Something that, like out of the Evil Ernie universe. That's what she kind of looks like. Unfortunately, the Red Lantern team, the Red Lantern Corps, is pretty much dead now. Ever since the reboot of the 52 and after the new 52, They haven't really did much with the Red Lantern Corps. They haven't did stuff with Blue Lantern Corps. All the other main corps, they haven't did a lot of stuff with, mainly because they ended all the storylines, and now Grant Morrison has taken over the reins of Green Lantern. If you weren't aware, he does write Green Lantern now. And the book's okay. I have read number 1. I have 2 and 3. Number 4 comes out this week. I just haven't had a chance to get caught up with Green Lantern. Something else I want to bring to your guys' attention. There was a show that's still on TV now called Supernatural, if you're not aware of the show. It's a... two guys are basically chasing demonic creatures, and they're on a hunt for different characters. What New 52 books did I read? If I remember correctly, 52. I did Red Lantern Corps, I did Green Lantern Corps, I did the normal Green Lantern book itself, I did New Guardians. Those are the 4 books that I was reading. But they wiped out the entire 52 because that happened because of Flashpoint. Flashpoint spun out I normally don't see. I apologize for the delay again. So, as I'm mentioning, the Supernatural TV show. There was one of the items in the TV show that talked about during the 1st and 2nd season, and I didn't get past the 2nd season of Supernatural. Yeah, I haven't seen Don the Doctor in a long, long time, AA. I don't even know where he's at. I have not heard from him in about a year, so I don't know where he's at. One of the items I picked up at a convention, let me just swing back to this real quick. I picked up at a convention, and I think I spent $20 for it, and if you're a Supernatural fan, you'll know what it is, and that is the Cult. This is a facsimile of the Cult. This is not a very great replica of it. This is more of a bootleg. This is a bootleg piece of the Cult. So I'm going to take it off this base here so you can see what it would look like. There's a lot of heft and weight in this piece. It's detailed rather well. You can see all the embroidery on it. It looks very, very nice. Now, there is no pentagram symbol on the handle. That is something that is a telltale sign of that firearm from the Supernatural show. If you notice, the barrel is not even cored out, so it's not a real gun. It does not fire. There's no firing pin. This is not a real firearm. This is a facsimile, not even a great one compared to a screen accurate. It's not even a screen accurate gun. But it has a lot of weight, has a lot of heft to it. It does have a cocking mechanism, and it will fire, but there's nothing there. You can spin the barrel, as you see me doing here, and it will move. And there's, if you look in the front here, you may notice there's on the side, or maybe on the side, you might be able to notice it by the barrel right there, by the chamber, which is right here, right there. Yeah, I haven't seen him either, Jackie. I don't know where he's at. So it looks like it has some type of ammunition inside of it. So it's kind of a neat prop. I have this sitting on the side wall when you come into my apartment. You might notice my cat right over here, right in the corner. Right, hold on, right there. There she is. She's cleaning herself. It's a really cool firearm, really cool replica of one. And I thought it'd be a neat idea to show you one of my favorite collectibles. Something a little different. Something you normally haven't seen coming from me. Usually you'll see Funko, you'll see action figures. You'll see maybe some toys, some statues, some collectibles. Something a little different that you don't normally see from me. And speaking of different, yeah, kind of, sort of, Colin. But the gimmick for that gun in the TV show is anything that you shoot with the gun, and if you hit it, you kill it. It doesn't matter what it is. It's a demon-killing weapon. You can kill Satan with it. You can kill, hypothetically, if we want to talk religion, if God was a person and you shot God, you could kill God. That's how this gun was designed. It was built that way in the lore of the TV show. Again, I only got up to the 2nd season of Supernatural. I want to watch more of it. I just haven't had a chance to. Not because it's a bad show. I just haven't had a chance to. The only one I saw this season was the Scooby-Doo episode. And they had one I saw the Scooby-Doo episode, and there was a Comic Book Geek episode. I saw those 2 episodes. The Supernatural for Scooby is literally the Supernatural characters in a Scooby-Doo episode cartoon. If you've never seen it, I highly recommend it. You don't really need to even know what's going on with the... Got lag again. So, moving on. now I want to talk about some stuff here. Those are my well-known collectibles. Something that pop culture, you might know about it. Yeah, it's still on. It went. I know that it had points. They had writing campaigns where it was supposed to go off the air, and all their fans demanded the show to come back, and it did stuff like that. So I brought the point of all my favorite collectibles, of course, including my two statues, which are not in this group. Now I want to talk about some collectibles that are sort of non-mainstream. Let's talk about the big one first, and I want to give you guys a warning now. If you're sensitive to photo light, you could maybe have a seizure, please turn away for the next minute or so, because this item here will have a flashing effect, and it might cause someone to go into a seizure. I don't want that to happen. So I talked about it on the 2018 year in review, and it was this item right here, which I will call it non-mainstream. This is a item from Certified Animated Animations. This is from Warner Brothers. I showcased it off on my video, and I didn't really I didn't use the gimmick to turn it on. I'm going to turn it on for you guys so you can see kind of what goes on under the hood. I just want to fix this piece of tape right there. One thing about this, these items are extremely hard to find. They're not easy to track down. I advise anyone who can find one in the wild to purchase it. Normally these things have a price point that go anywhere from about $250 up to $500. They're not cheap, but they're very cool collectibles. So I want to showcase it off to you right now. So there's a button over here where my finger is, right there. So if you're sensitive to light, flashing light, please turn away now. There it is.
Look, Bud, I have already claimed this bit of dirt from the Earth, and there just ain't room enough on this planet for the two of us.
Oh, dear. Now I suppose I shall have to use force.
What? Now I use my secret weapon!
So there you go, guys. That's the animated animations for Duck Dodgers, one of my favorite cartoons. I love Looney Tunes, and I love this piece. You saw that big flash of light. That's why I wanted to warn you guys, if you go to any type of epileptic seizures, please turn away when that part fired, because it is a bright flashing light, and that can trigger people to go into those type of seizures. Those pieces are extremely rare to find, and mainly because they break very, very easily. There's mechanics inside those pieces where gears would turn and things like that, where parts would move and flow, and they can break extremely easily. Warner Brothers made a few of those. They made one for Tweety and Sylvester. They made one for Bugs. They even made one for the Batman animated series, and it goes through a favorite non-mainstream collectibles, meaning you probably never heard of this company before. It's a really cool, really classy, non-mainstream collectible that's in my collection, and I absolutely love it. Like I said, we're easily going to be at 9:45 on this stream, guys. Next one here is something you really wouldn't think I would like. If you're not aware, I haven't talked about it a whole lot. I'm a big fan of Dungeons & Dragons. I played it back in Advanced 2nd Edition Dungeons & Dragons. I played 3rd Edition a lot. I had a long campaign with some buddies of mine years ago. It ran for close to 3 real years. 3 physical real years of playing a campaign every Thursday night we played. Loved it. And I'm also a fan, I used to read a lot of the D&D, the TSR books, the Forgotten Realm books, more importantly. And there's an author that probably created one of the most popular fantasy characters in all of Dungeons & Dragons history ever. In fantasy at all. I mean, he's not, the writer, of course, is R.A. Salvatore, but he's not George R.R. Martin. But if you go to any D&D player and you say the name Drizzt Do'Urden, the Dark Elf Renegade, everybody knows who that character is. And a company came out about 6 years ago with a product of make sort of knockoff Legos, which were Creos. The company Creo got the rights to Dungeons and Dragons, and they put out a bunch of play sets, but they also put out single one-carded figures. And I had two of them, one I opened and one I left on card, so I can showcase it to you. It's a very cool collectible, again, non-mainstream, something a little different, and it's this guy right here. This is the Drizzt Do'Urden Creo Collection 1 figure. It has a little point card because it was a little game that you could play with these cards. It made a little tree. We could put his weapons on it. That's what it kind of looked like on the side. And you built Drizzt Do'Urden. You could also make, I don't know if you can really see it here. I'll kind of focus a little bit. Hopefully it will focus. Right here is Wolfgar, one of the main companions for Drizzt. I don't know if it's going to focus. Hopefully it will focus. 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 I don't know if it's going to focus or not. But that's Wolfgar right over here. That's Wolfgar. Then you have Lord Neverember. You had Vancy, this one. And then you had the Eye of Gromish, which is this guy here. And these were one-shot figures. But these were Creos. They worked with Legos, so if you wanted to put, like, it even came with a little Lego piece right there on the bottom. You can see it right there, a little Lego brick. These were kind of knockoff Legos, but it would work with it. And I kept this figure on card. And it's a really cool item in my collection. Again, not well known, but Hasbro, in fact, made these items. So Hasbro is a very well-known company, but in this situation, it kind of skirts the line. I didn't want to talk about Hasbro, Mattel, Funko, or NECA, but Hasbro made these items, which is sort of a non-mainstream brand, which you look at Creos, something a little different that you normally don't see. And one of the last items I want to circle around to here, I know what they are. I didn't have any. I really wish they would have had the characters. I don't even know if they made them from the original Dungeons and Dragons cartoon. They are coming out with a run of the Dungeons and Dragons characters in statue form. They are making it. I'm probably going to be getting at least Hank, who had the energy bow. It really didn't have a name, but buddies of mine always referred to it as a Starfire bow. It just looked really, really cool. But they are coming out with a reviewed, will be picked up, absolutely, 100%. But one of the last items I want to talk about came out from, I believe it was Playmates. And I talked about it on a stream where I had one of my first streams. It was Star Trek versus Star Wars. And I said, why can't we just all get along? Why does one group gravitate to one property and another group to another property? And they sort of butt heads and hate each other. I'm the guy who walks that fine line. I like both properties equally well. I might have more memorabilia from one than another, but one of the items I picked up here comes from one of my favorite Star Trek shows. And if you're not familiar or not aware, I'm a big fan of DS9. DS9 is my favorite Star Trek show. You're going to say, Rook, why do you like DS9? They were just on a space station. That's the reason why I liked it. It had a lot to do with intrigue. It was very, very political. There was a lot of religious overtones to the show. It was not about just guns blazing. They had their stories revolved around a wormhole, and they really didn't go anywhere. But it was a very good show. And to have the dichotomy between Picard and Sisko, the two main characters from Star Trek Next Gen and DS9, kind of butt heads, where you had Picard as the guy who always uses words and talking. He's very political. He always he's not very warlike. He'll always talk to somebody in a political tone first, in a non-aggressive fashion or posture, compared to Sisko, who's very aggressive, who's very strong and bullheaded. But you can understand the reasons why that character was so strong, was so bullheaded, why he is the way he is. And it was driven that way because of Picard and when he was Locutus of Borg. You can understand the reasoning of why he was so driven and so passionate about why he acted the way he did. One of the reasons why I like DS9 so much is a different sort of Star Trek show. Yes, DS9 and Babylon 5 came out around the same time. And I only watched a few episodes of Babylon 5. But I really, really liked DS9. DS9 was a show that I gravitated to, and I really, really liked. Did I like Next Gen? I love Next Gen. I have Next Gen box set. I'll pop a disc in every once in a while and watch some episodes. I don't have DS9 on DVD or Blu-ray. Down the road, I want to get it down the road. But I don't have any right now. But I would love to pick up a full box set of DS9. But I had an item given to me as a gift, and I haven't did a review for it yet. And like I said, this item is off the beaten path. It's my favorite ship in Star Trek ever, and that is the DS9 Defiant. This is the Defiant ship. This is the what's known as a Borg Buster. It was designed as a warship, the only warship ship in Starfleet ever. I'm going to do a review on this guy. I just haven't did it yet. If you're curious, the nose cone does dip down a little bit, so there's sort of a side profile. And there is lights and sound gimmick with this. There's a saucer section right here. If you notice the stand I'm holding, on the underside, you may notice kind of this piece right here, this oval, this round piece right here. You can pop the figure stand out and put a disc in place, which then makes it solid, so you can kind of fly the ship around. That's the gimmick. This is, if you're curious, all plastic. There's no metal with this, and it's a very cool displaying ship. I love this ship. Playmates, I want to say it's Playmates. Playmates and I think Diamond Select put these guys out. I could be wrong on the company. But the lights and sound gimmick, there are 4 buttons on top here. Let's go through them real quick. You'll see the front here. Sort of, I guess that's warp with the Romulans to make a cloaking device on this ship. This is a warship, as I mentioned. This is designed to fight the Borg. Not just one ship, but a fleet of these ships. They're small ships. They're much, I mean, these are almost like shuttlecraft size compared to, like, let's say the Constellation classes or the big capital ships you see in Star Trek. This is a smaller ship. You have this one here. So you had lights and sound. That's the quantum phasers. I think it's quantum phasers. I might be wrong on the name. I haven't seen DS9 in a while. Those are the phasers right there. These are pulse cannons. That's what they are. These are pulse cannons right there. That's pulse cannons. And this is the cloak. Oh, actually, excuse me, red alert. So that's a red alert right there. Kind of cool item. So yeah, this is probably one of the coolest collectibles I have. Again, got it as a gift. I like Star Trek, love it. But having my favorite ship, this is my all-time favorite ship out of Star Trek, ever. More than the Enterprise classes, any of the Enterprises, even the D would have the saucer that could be detached. I love this ship. I really love the Defiant. The Defiant to me is my favorite ship. This is the coolest ship Star Trek ever made. One of the coolest ships, rather, that they ever made. But yeah, that is something that, again, is very non-mainstream. That's why I wanted to showcase that off to you. So I'm done talking about everything out on my table here. I talked about everything here, all my items, looking around, make sure I didn't miss anything. I did not. So I want to hear what Bizarre Supergirl. This is the Defiant. If you look right here, the USS Defiant right there. This is the NX. This is NX class. This was a prototype ship. It was designed to fight the Borg. One of the later episodes in DS9, it got blown up when they fought the Dominion, but they had another Defiant class ship. Cisco took the plaque and renamed it the Defiant, just in honor to that ship. It was a different ship. I think it was the Galileo, I believe. I could be wrong with the name. But they renamed that ship the Defiant again, so it was kind of like the Defiant too. But I'm curious to what are your guys' favorite collectibles? Hit me up in the chat, please. I'm done talking tonight. I've talked about everything here for over close to 40 minutes. I want to know what your guys' favorite collectibles are. Hit me up in the chat, please. I know what AA stuff is, probably. Probably Star Wars Black Series. Bizarre Supergirl, do you have any favorite collectibles? And more importantly, do you have any that you would consider a non-mainstream collectibles? Ergo, like these guys here. Like my Defiant. Do I collect comic rings? Are you talking like Green Lantern rings? I don't have many physical rings themselves. I did a full review of that'd be another item. I didn't grab it out of the bookcase. But the 1/4-inch power batteries. Let me grab one real quick for you. Let the stream go. Back in a second, let me grab one. Just to showcase it off for you. So, I didn't even think about these. Thank you for bringing it up, Colin. I completely forgot about them. Batteries. They had one for each core color. If you have not yet seen that video, I highly recommend taking a look at it. It's probably one of my most widely watched videos on my channel, which is kind of odd. It might be a little dusty or dirty. It comes in 4 pieces. You have the power battery itself. You asked about rings. Here is a Blue Lantern core ring. All the rings had their core symbol on it. Hey Anna, thanks for coming in the chat. It would fit one size fit all. It comes with a base. This one, if you look, it might be hard to notice, but it says Hope on the back. It had the motto of each core, each one of these. And there is, if you look over here, a key. This key, it says Blackest Night right there. This was DC Direct before it became DC Collectibles. One of the things that you can do with these power batteries, there is light up gimmicks with it. Right there. It does light up. They normally have a handle that is movable. The only one that is not movable out of the ones I have would be my orange lantern, my Avarice battery. The handle broke and it will not swivel. And the other gimmick is there's a little notch on there's a divot inside. You see it right there? That key can turn a ring. That turns the inside little nub right here, and the ring will light up. So I have all the 7 main core batteries. If you have not yet seen that video, I highly recommend taking a look at it, Colin. It's probably one of my first reviews. It's one of my most popular reviews, which is kind of odd. It got so much traction. Yeah, it was a small little delay. It locked up for a sec. But yeah, these power batteries are extremely hard to find. They are not cheap in any way or form. Usually the more traditional, the yellow, excuse me, the green, the normal green power battery, the red, I want to say the Avarice, those 3 power batteries are extremely expensive. I've seen the green ones go for about 200 or higher. Reds go for about 150 to 200. I probably have close to $1,000 just in power batteries alone. But those originally came out, I think they were $39.99 originally. I could be wrong on the price, but they were about $40 a piece. And they released them in a span of 9 months. So sometimes there was 1 power battery, sometimes there was 3 power batteries. So I could have gotten the black and the white one, which would give me all 9 types of power batteries. But I wanted the true 7 core power batteries. And they are extremely hard to find. Oh, one thing I didn't show Colin is on the top of the power battery, you have the Blue Lantern symbol. So this was identical for all power batteries, except the yellow one has a different handle, and the red power battery is different as well. But thank you for bringing it up. I completely forgot about these guys. I should have remembered. But yeah, those will be one of my highlights for my collection as well. And that one would probably be something maybe not mainstream. When you ask somebody about a power battery for another group, they probably wouldn't have a clue. So it would be really non-mainstream. So Bizarro's, your top is a Supergirl statue and custom figures. Which statue is it, Bizarro Supergirl? And AA, your favorite collectible is your 1977 Luke Skywalker mint on card. Ooh. I'm assuming that's the one. Does that have the telescopic lightsaber? AA. I don't know if that wave of 3 3/4 had the telescopic blade that would extend. I don't know if that one had it, or the next following, like the next series of it might have. I don't know. I don't remember that figure. You know, when I talked about it, I had a couple of the old original 3 3/4, but those were I had an R2D2, but he had the telescoping point on the dome. It would pop up. Yep. Okay. I know that telescopic blade. I think one of them is extremely expensive because I think it might be a different color blade. I heard. I think I was watching some type of toy show, and they mentioned a special thing with the telescoping blade because it might have been a Ben Kenobi or a Luke. Jackie, your favorite collectible is a Wonder Woman figure from Jakks Pacific. Okay, and I would say Jakks Pacific is another company that would be kind of not mainstream. That's an older, I would say it's a company. Oh, Okay. Okay. Black Superman. I'm assuming the one with the silver during the Reign of Superman after the Death of Superman storyline. That would be the one with the silver S shield. I'm assuming. I think I've seen that figure. I think I've seen that statue. But yeah, I believe I know what you're talking about, Colin. And dude, mint on card. Congrats, congrats for that. But we're heading up to 9:45. I thought it would be running about 45 minutes today. I want to thank everybody who came into the stream tonight. Yep, Heat Vision Eyes, very very cool. I want to thank everybody who came into the stream tonight. Um, it was a very very good stream. Came out really really well. I want to thank again everybody who's here, who does support the stream, does support the channel. I'm going to put the link to Toy Hunt number 63 in the video on demand shortly, so you should be able to see it then, guys. So again, I want to thank everybody who came into the stream. I'm going to cut the stream out right now. See you in the next one, guys. Take care. I'm going to cut the stream in 3, 2, 1. Take care, and bye-bye.